Oh, what's going on this morning, Wheelburners? Hopefully, sorry, I was just outside. Hopefully this morning, you guys are all tucked away from the storm. We got it last night. It ran right through till early morning, and it tapered off, but about an hour ago, it's kicked back up again, and we're getting, I guess, round two. So we're not overly thrilled with that, but what can you do when you live in Canada, right? It's almost the norm. You kind of expect it, right? You think wintertime Canada, snow. So anyway, we've got some time. I was out, had to dig out, because if we're gonna get round two, right, you don't wanna just let it accumulate. So we were just out, we dug out the cars, dug out the truck, dug out the drive. So we'll do all that, we've done all that, and so we've got some time to kill here. I don't have to go anywhere till this afternoon. The bummer is I got a bobtail in this. Hopefully they got the highways cleaned up. I keep going like this, something out of the eye is just something's out of the corner of my eye is just catching out the front window there. But anyway, let's get down to what we're doing here. Thanks for the emails and thanks for the comments. The last couple of videos, you guys have been absolutely killing it. And I said this in the last video, you've been killing it in the comments. I've just been, we've been putting out videos, just helpful videos of how to navigate through the trucking world, I guess. But I don't have all the answers. I never claimed I have all the answers. I've said I don't have the answers, but if I don't have an answer, I probably know somebody who does. I've been doing this long enough. And you guys have been piping in with the comments, covering just about anything that I've missed. And man, thank you. Very helpful. You're killing it. Good job. But now we're getting emails. And we always get emails anyway, but now we're getting, based on what's been going on in the last couple of videos. So we got an email from a guy named Marty. And Marty is out of North Dakota. Sorry, Marty, for your luck. But Marty is an 11-year veteran. As a company driver, he's making the jump to owner-operator. And all he wants, and it's actually, my opinion, I think Marty's done it right. What he did is he's gone 11 years, he's single, no wife, no kids, didn't buy a house. He pretty much for 11 years has lived in the truck and he rents a room. But what has this enabled Marty to do? It's enabled him to save his money. So Marty's been able to save just about every penny he's got, and Marty now wants to buy a brand new truck. And he's going brand new, like right off the lot. And he's just asked a simple question. He's going, okay, now I've got the down payment. I know what my budget is, but he's even gone so far as he knows he wants a Volvo. So good for Marty, he wants a Volvo. But he's like, I have to go to the dealership and I have to work with a sales guy and whatnot, and I've got to get my truck spec'd out to what I want. I need a little help here. And you know what? This is an area that I'm pretty good with, and I've got a couple other friends that are even more experienced than I am, and we're pretty good with this kind of stuff. So we're gonna throw this at you, Marty. And for anybody else, if you're a new owner operator or even a veteran, and you're going to buy your very first brand new truck, here's just a couple of helpful hints, okay? And again, anything that I miss, please feel free to throw it in the comments. I'm not gonna cover everything. This would be a 3-hour video. But I am just gonna throw this up there, okay? First of all, when you go into a dealership, I've had to do this. Some of you have had to do this. You let the sales guy, the new sales guy, know that you're interested in buying a truck. First thing he's gonna do is do well, how much of a down payment have you got? So then, you got to tell them, and my suggestion for anybody buying a new truck is get your financing first. Go get your financing done and get it solidified and in place. That way you're not messing around. You don't want to go out and go in and inspect your truck and get everything done and then say, okay, hold on a minute, I got to go get this financed, and then run into whatever roadblocks, with financing. So get your financing done first, get that out of the way, so it's just basically, okay, sign on the bottom line, they order the truck, money happens, exchanges and whatnot like that. So take care of that first. But the first thing he's gonna do is he's gonna pull out what's called a build sheet. Build sheet. No teeth. Anyway, and on the build sheet, it's gonna have I think there's probably about a couple of pages, not just one page, but it's a couple of pages, and it's gonna have a list of just about every option and everything on that truck. Now, we're not gonna talk about the options, okay? All we're gonna do is talk about speccing your truck, okay? For the most important thing. And guys, I've told you this 1,000 times before, and I'm gonna tell you right now, the most important thing in this day and age when you're speccing out your truck is you are speccing it out for fuel mileage. Fuel mileage at the end of the day wins the race. With the only exception is if you're doing like super heavy or oversized where fuel mileage is not a factor. You're going to be getting 5 miles to the gallon. Doesn't matter if you're rolling down the goddamn hills. That kind of takes that out of play. But any other time, fuel mileage wins the race. So you're speccing your truck for fuel mileage. Now, Marty's decided to go with a Volvo. Great, Marty. So you're going to be with a D13. Fantastic. Now, remember something. Okay, we're gonna do this real quick because, again, I don't want to make a 13-minute video or a 14-minute video. The D13 Volvo motor and the MX13, which is Paccar's 13-liter motor, are very similar. They are low revving, high torque engines. Anybody that's got one with an automated transmission knows that when those things drop gears, they rev right, the RPMs drop right down to about 900 RPM before that thing will drop a gear. They are designed to do that. They're built to do that. People with the manual transmissions make the mistake that once it gets down to about 1300, they drop a gear on a Volvo or Paccar, and you don't do that. That's not the way they're designed. They are low revving, high torque engines for your gear shifts. Remember that. So knowing that with the Volvo and say the Paccar, you are going to want, first thing you're going to want to know is where you're going with it. Are you running the Midwest? You're running flat? You're running, south? Are you on flat ground, or are you going to be pulling a lot of hills primarily? Or is it going to be a mix of both? Okay. In my case, I get a mix of both, right? I run flat, I run some hills, my truck is well-rounded for what it's spec'd out to do. So with those two engines, the MX-13 and the D13 motors, you're gonna spec these trucks out. If you're running flat, or let's just say you're gonna do a general mix, okay? You're gonna want a 264 rear end differential, that's your gear ratio, 264, okay, 2.64. You're gonna want a 12-speed automated transmission with overdrive. Guys, with overdrive, okay? I know I'm gonna get some comments about that, but you're gonna want the 12-speed automated transmission with overdrive, okay? You're gonna set your horsepower between 455 and 465. You don't need big horsepower. You don't need 500. You don't need 525. You can take a D13 up to 525. It'll take that, but you don't need it. Why? If you're pulling general freight, which means you're maxed out at 80,000 pounds, 455 to 465 horse. Now, the most important thing is your torque. Horsepower doesn't get you up the hill, okay? Your torque does, your torque settings. You want your torque settings set for 1690, between 1690 and 1720, okay? 1690, 1720, 455 horse to 465 horse. You can even go up to 475 if you want to have, I got a 470, whatever. Okay, now on those motors, 264 rear ends, that's your differential, right? Your gear ratio. 12-speed automated transmission with overdrive, right? 455, 465 horsepower, 1690 to 1720 on your torque. That will get you a very well-rounded truck. That will put you in the 8.5 to 9.5 mile per gallon ratio area. And that's, in today's day and age, that's where you need to be. The days of running 7 miles a gallon and going, yeah, we're doing good, are gone. Those are 3 years ago numbers. The numbers have been slowly coming up. The MPGs have been slowly coming up. Nowadays, like, if you're not running better than 8, you're losing money. So you are wanting to spec your truck for fuel mileage. And with the MX-13 and the Paccar, and the DD13, the Volvo, that is where you want to be. Okay, now, if you're going with a Freightliner, Western Star, then you're going to have a Detroit, right? I myself personally, I have one, so I know what this motor does. When I got this truck from ET, I adjusted a couple things. The only thing I didn't change was the gear ratio. On my truck, I have a 308 gear ratio, okay? Now, that is only because I've got a 12-speed automated, but I don't have the overdrive, okay? It's just the DT12 is all I've got. So if you've got a Western Star or you've got a Freightliner, you want 308, that's 3.08 gear ratio, okay? My horsepower is at 465. Okay, now remember these Detroits, the 15-liter Detroits, I'm not going to talk about the 13-liter Detroits. I don't have one. I've never had one. I don't know a lot of people that do it. And the one person I did know that did have one wasn't happy with it. So I'm going to talk about the 15 liters. The 15 liters, you can take those things all the way up to almost 600, I think. Or actually, you can take them to 600. Anything over 600, you got to change a couple things on them. But with the DD15, I've got it set at 465 horse. My torque setting is at 1780. Okay, that's 1780. That's my torque setting. I run my truck between 64 and 68 miles per hour. I run the cruise as much as possible, and I average my truck. Now my truck is a 2020. Remember that, it's got 500,000 miles on it, and I'm still getting better than 8.5 miles per gallon out of it, and that's what we want. So with the Detroits, 465. 308, I would say between 1720 and 1780 on your torque, 465 horse, and make sure you get the DT12 automated transmissions. I have yet to see, and there's guys out there that are still making this argument, and I won't even listen to the argument anymore. I can do just as well with a manual and get the same mileage. No, you can't. I have yet to see, and myself included because I've done it, I've tried it, I have yet to see anybody that can shift gears manually as efficiently as a computer can. You cannot do it. The computer is mated to the engine, to the transmission, to the differentials, for your gear shifts to be at the most optimum time, and you just can't do that with a manual. You are going to over rev, you are going to under rev, you are going to make mistakes. The computer doesn't make mistakes. So that's a Detroit. If you're going with a Detroit for the third time, 308, 465, 12-speed, automated DT12, torque setting, say 1720 to 1780. You don't need to be in the 1800s again unless you're pulling oversized loads up and down hills. Now, the X15 is Cummins. Now, the Cummins you can have put into a Paccar or into a Pete or a Kenny. If you're going to go with remember the X15 is Cummins version. It would be similar, not quite the same as the Detroit. Those things are torque monsters, right? I'm impressed, very impressed. I was never really impressed with the ISX, but this X15 I am impressed with. I've driven a couple now. I've put heavy loads on a couple now to see what these things will do with the automated transmissions, and I'm impressed with them. Now with the X15, I wouldn't change a whole lot as per se with the Detroit. I would go with the X15 engine. I would go 465 to 475 horse. I would probably keep it about 1780 on the torque. 12-speed automated, absolutely. You can take that to a 308 or a 323 if you want to. If you're going to run a manual, then you might want to try a 355, a 350, or a 355, but I would stick with the 323 or the 308. And that pretty much, I think, covers just about all the engines. And that is what I would do. And talking to a couple other guys and even talking to one guy at a dealership as per the specs, the way these engines are built and set up, those are the settings. So Marty, I know you're buying a Volvo, and if that's what you're going to do, I've given you the Volvo specs. That's where you should spec your truck out. Good luck. Guys, I appreciate the comments. So anything that you think I've said that you don't agree with, throw it in. If you do agree with it, or if there's something else I've missed, put it in the comments. I'd love to hear it. Thanks for watching. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you down the road.